All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar, Pushing Boundaries with Artificial Intelligence. My name is Brian Watson. I'm an assistant professor of systems engineering, and I'll be kind of facilitating the conversation tonight. We've got with us Dr. Pecos, Dr. Ochoa, and Dr. Candell, and we'll hear a little bit more about them in a few minutes. Just an opening. So I want to, this seminar is being hosted by Embry-Riddle as well as the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. In our program, we have five bachelor's degrees for students: software engineering, computer science, computer engineering, electrical engineering, and systems engineering. And what we want to what we love, at least what I love, is we want helping students get where they want to go, right? If your social media feed's been anything like ours, you've seen a whole bunch of stuff at Artemis 2 this week. And one of the things that just fills me with joy is seeing selfies of former students standing next to the vehicle assembly building, or standing next to Artemis 2 as it gets ready for that trip around the moon. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. How do students come to Embry-Riddle, and then how does Embry-Riddle and this department help them get where they want to go? So we got three faculty talking about some students they've worked with, kind of giving that perspective. What I will say is we're going to have time for open questions later in this panel. So please put those in the chat. I'd much rather ask the questions that you're interested in rather than the questions that I'm interested in. And so before we get started, I think we have a brief video we can show. Awesome. I'm pumped up now. So we have our three panelists here, which we've already introduced. Assistant Professor of Computer Science, Electrical Engineering, Computer Science, and Software Engineering are the disciplines being represented here tonight. So we'll start off with Dr. Ochoa. So pull up the next slide here for his bio. Yeah, so he's the leader of the Agile Research Group, looking at software engineering, machine learning, STEM education. He also worked in industry for 10 years, Army Research Lab, IBM, Hewlett-Packard, over $9 million of research funding, 66 research publications, more than 40 graduate students advised. So Dr. Charles, I'll turn it over to you to kind of talk about some of those students you worked with.
Thank you, Brian. If we can go to the next slide, thank you. So I want to highlight one of my greatest success stories that I've had in my experience here at Embry-Riddle, and that is the story of Alex Newcomb. So Alex received her bachelor's in software engineering in 2024, and during that time, she started working with me in research. We worked together, and she really showed an interest in pursuing a graduate education. And she said, I like this research stuff. Let's focus on that." So we worked together, and we published a significant amount of work in the areas of AI, software engineering in critical systems, and aviation and advanced air mobility, which was great for her because it allowed her to really commit herself to doing a PhD. And then I pointed out to her that she could pursue opportunities that the government has to support her education, one being the National Science Foundation's Graduate Research Fellowship Program, which is this very highly competitive uh, scholarship that supports students going to graduate school. It provides full tuition and a $37,000 stipend for 3 years. So we worked together on this application, and she submitted, and she was successfully in acquiring that, which is a great thing because she doesn't have to worry about money. Also, it's nice to know that Alex had previously been working with Boeing. She did 4 internships in her time as an undergraduate, working in areas such as the flight deck and simulation engineering. Next slide. So it's funny to mention that Alex started her career as many other students. She came to Embry-Riddle because she wanted to get an aerospace engineering degree. But as she was learning more about the field, she decided that software engineering was more interesting to her. So she switched in her second year, and then I had some projects that needed help with, and she became involved in these projects as a sophomore. This work allowed her to explore areas such as modeling and simulation for drone workflows and using some advanced software project management in academia settings. This allowed her to get a grasp of what it meant to do research while she was doing her undergraduate coursework, which ultimately led her to decide to pursue research. She also was involved in this competition with the FAA called the FAA Data Challenge, which was part of two teams which were finalists in both situations and ended up as winning like $11,000 combined. During her tenure here, like I said previously, she published one journal article, which is really unheard of for undergraduates to do, and two conference papers. She also has been in receiving mentorship from multiple faculty members, not just myself. I know that, for example, Dr. Watson has mentored her, Dr. Garfield, and other colleagues have worked with her closely. So I asked her to tell me what her opinion was on why Embry-Riddle was such a good place to come. And she told me, this is a great place to participate in impactful research as early as possible, as a freshman year. And I know many of her students do get involved in research as young as the freshman year. She also told me that this is a unique place where she can have a close relationship with faculty and PhD students and people that have a lot of wisdom and can pass on that to her. And she also mentioned that there's a unique distinction in between the software engineering degree and the computer science degree, whereas in other universities that tends to be merged as and it's just a computer science degree. She also highlighted how Embry-Riddle allows her to explore both academia in terms of research experiences, and it also helps her get an internship to gain industry experience. And finally, she said that there were a lot of opportunities that were provided by Embry-Riddle after her undergraduate degree, such as participating in this competition and gain experience and present work on top of many experts to get this highly competitive fellowship or provide preparation to join industry or participate in graduate studies. So from her opinion, this is what she really values from Embry-Riddle.
Fantastic. Yeah, so and for those in the audience who aren't familiar with the program he's talking about, so basically, I think it's right around 1,000 students nationally are selected. So Alex is right there up there with the MITs and the Harvards, right? There's probably, if I had to guess, only 20 to 40 software engineers selected nationally, right? She was able to start that journey as a freshman just out of high school, which is pretty incredible. Don't forget to put your questions in the chat. It can be about the students, how you get involved with activities here, how you get involved with research, or just general things about attending Embry-Riddle. We'd love to answer any of those questions. Next, we'll go on to Dr. Pecos. See if we can get his bio slide pulled up. Yeah, so PhD in electrical engineering, so a little more hardware centric. But he was a senior systems engineer at Qualcomm Research and Cesium Astro Space and Defense Systems. He is assistant director of the Wireless Devices Electromagnetics Laboratory, working on secure AI, right, and is really passionate about the next generation of EECS students. We asked him here because he's one of our almost brand new faculty. So he's been here for just about 18 months, and he's already, you can see, faculty come in ready to hit the ground running. So, Dr. Beckhouse, I'll turn the floor over to you and let you talk about some of your experiences.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining our call. I really appreciate having you, and thank you, Brian, for introducing me. So I want to talk about one student that I am working with called Ayşe Okatan. So Ayşe actually started doing research here with the other faculty on the call, like Dr. Ochoa and Dr. Kandel, before I even started doing course sophomore summer. After that summer, I started at Embry-Riddle. And so basically, Embry-Riddle is a research experience for undergraduate site by the National Science Foundation. So what this means is basically National Science Foundation gives money to Embry-Riddle to teach cybersecurity of unmanned aerial vehicles to undergraduate students over a 10-week summer period, and pays them $7,000 stipend, and provides them with on-campus housing and meals and travel expenses so that they can come to campus. And like it's a selective program, but it's not extremely hard to get into. Like, you don't have to be a wizard to get in. You need to have a 3.0 GPA, majoring in an ECS related field, and be committed to work during the summer on this work. So over this period, Aisha worked on a project, and after I joined, I basically started supervising that project and brought it to an application. So if you look at the next slide, I can show you how the application looks like. So her application was this. She used what we call latent space representation of AI systems to communicate information, which is what I specialize in. So I was able to put her motivation in the appropriate format, which is accepted by the community, to be used for authentication and encryption of information, where, how we can use this represented form to communicate information between AI models when she was a junior in here, which has a lot of security implications for embedded AI systems that are not, ChatGPT, but that are used in avionics, for example, or biomedical devices. So after we got her project done in her junior year, we started looking at her second work, which came actually last summer, in the summer of 2025. So you may have heard of the company called Anthropic. So Anthropic is the author of Claude, LLM. And Anthropic released on July 22nd a paper on, how traits are transferred between AI models. So I like to chat with my students, and on the 23rd, the day after it's released, I read this paper, and I thought that it was relevant to Aisha's idea on how information can get transferred between AI models. So I sent her a text like, "Hey, there's this paper which is relevant to what you have done in your previous work." So I actually caught it, but there's a lot of back and forth going, in that chat. And less than an hour later, she said, "Hey, professor, it would be cool if we find scenarios where this is broken on identical models." And so July 23rd, July 22nd, the AI paper came out. July 23rd, she was still the summer of her junior year. We were able to go through the paper with her, and she came up with this idea. And one thing I want to highlight here is how fast you can do things. Like, people think of research, from what I see, they think, you need to build years and years and years of work, but we have already done that for you, for students, and we basically transferred the information in a quick manner. So July 22nd paper came out. July 23rd, I sent it to Aisha, and I went over the paper with her, discussing the paper, and she came up with a new idea. And less than 2 months later, on September 8th, she finished the paper. We sent it to a conference called the IEEE Cybersecurity Awareness Research Symposium. And at the end of October, like, the conference was before November, so October 30th, she was at the conference presenting her work that just started less than 3 months ago, with two of our other students. One of them, Justin, standing next to Aisha, also won an award. Justin is a student of Dr. Kandel, who's going to speak next. So what I want to highlight is, we are in very close touch with our students, and we like to transfer information to students, and we want to get you to where you will be with a lot of information very quickly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, fantastic. So our next speaker is Dr. Kandel. See, there we go. Perfect. So PhD in computer engineering from Stevens. I'm sure she's very glad to be down in Florida as opposed to New Jersey. She's the director of the Cybersecurity Engineering Laboratory, which was one of our awesome facilities here at Embry-Riddle. Also of the Sybase Center, the Kandel Research Group. She advises the White Hat Eagle Cybersecurity Student Club. And her research focus, as you can guess from all the clubs and directors, is cybersecurity focused. So Dr. Kandel, I'll turn it over to you to tell your story.
All right. Thank you, Brian, and welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in this late evening. So as the other panelists mentioned, you can get involved in research as early as freshman year. Research doesn't just happen in research labs, but it can actually begin in the classroom itself. So when it begins in the classroom, you get double benefit, right? You meet the course requirements, you get good grades, as well as you can build on the work that you start as a class project and grow it into much bigger real research. So I'm going to share one example from my CS 303 class, Network Security and Applied Cryptography, class from fall 2024. Logan, Matthew, and Sirio, they started working on class project using hierarchical Q-learning for threat hunting. By the end of the semester, they did substantial amount of work, but it was not satisfactory enough to be converted into a conference paper. It was not ready yet. So they met the course requirement, but then we followed along, and I kept reminding them about the deadlines, and eventually they finished the work. And so let me expand a little bit on what they actually did. So they developed dwelling deep Q-learning to build a more adaptive and intelligent intrusion detection system, IDS. Traditionally, IDS model, they rely heavily on supervised machine learning, which means they learn from labeled examples of known attacks. While this works well for familiar threat, it becomes a challenge when attackers introduce new or evolving or never seen attacks before, like zero vulnerabilities. As a result, these models often struggle to generalize, and they tend to produce many false positives, especially in complex or rapidly changing environments. Dwelling deep Q-learning helps. It's a type of reinforcement learning model that just doesn't classify traffic, but it learns by interacting with the system, receiving feedback, and optimizing decisions over time. So the dwelling architecture separates the value of being in a particular network state from the advantage of taking a certain action. This makes learning more stable, more efficient, and better suited for dynamic environments. Next slide, please. This gives you the overall picture of how our undergraduate AI research that started in the classroom, CS303, was accepted as a conference paper in SoutheastCon. It started in fall, right? It started in August. It was submitted in February, and the student went there. The department supported all the expenses, travel, as well as registration, hotel, and everything. Attended the conference, presented the paper, and actually they received the best paper award. As you can see, Logan holding the award there in the picture. Yeah, and also this story was actually covered by Embry-Riddle News. So ultimately, this project shows that how curiosity and mentorship and dedication can turn a classroom project into a meaningful research project, creating impact. Thank you.
Yeah, so now we'll turn it over to Ms. Cobb for a few words from how do you actually get involved in this? How do we get you onto the field?
Hi, so I'm from the admissions office. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that process today. So for those of you that are currently seniors or you're ready to possibly attend college this fall, good news is the application's already open. So if they've inspired you to get started with this process today, it's ready to go. The application is on our website, so you can start that anytime. For those of you that maybe are looking at a future term, we do open the application this summer between your junior and senior year. We use rolling admissions, so that means that you can kind of apply throughout the year. But what we'll do is we'll start reviewing complete applications in September, and we're going to keep going until we're full. So definitely do recommend to try to apply on the earlier side if you can. And what you need to actually complete your application. The application itself, it's super important. That kind of kicks things off, and you're going to make a few decisions when you apply. You're going to apply to either the Florida or Arizona campus. You're going to apply directly to the major that you want to study. And you're also going to tell us if you want to use your test scores. We are test optional. So if you say yes, then we're going to need those as part of the review process. If you say no, then we're not going to want those. The other thing that is very important is your high school transcript. We are going to be looking at your freshman year through your junior year, and your senior schedule would be really helpful as well. We're looking for academic preparation. We want to see your grades and how you've done. Your math and science classes are especially important, and you are going to want to have at least pre-calculus in high school in order to be prepared for the degrees we're talking about today. And then some truly optional items, essay, resume, letters of recommendation. Those are really optional. You can send them if you would like to. You do not have to, but they are a really great way to kind of tell us more about who you are as a person and a prospective student. So once we get all of that in, we do try to get you started with the review and get you a decision as quickly as we're able to make it. And then after the acceptance process, hopefully, you would start their merit review process. So all accepted students are going to be considered for merit scholarships. That is automatic. And then we do also encourage students to complete the FAFSA form for need-based aid review, and also apply to external scholarships, because those can be stacked onto whatever we offer up to the cost of attendance. So they can be a huge help to you. And just kind of finally for me, we really appreciate you coming out today. So we would like to waive your $50 application fee. So here on the screen, you'll see the code webinar26. If you use that on the payment page of the application, that will take care of that $50 fee for you. So we really appreciate you coming out. And if you ever have any questions, please reach out to the admissions team anytime. We're all happy to help you. Thanks.
Perfect. Yeah. So speaking of questions, we got some good ones coming up. So I'll kind of field these. So I think some of these questions are a little bit related, but from Catherine. So how do you actually get a faculty mentor? And then I'm not sure what the second name is, but I appreciate the question. And then does it change for freshmen? So the question is, how do you actually find a mentor? How do you get plugged in? And then any thoughts about freshmen being involved?
So I think it's one of the strengths of the university. Our door is open, and if you come to my door and just ask me what I do, I'll tell you what I do. And if you say I'm interested in research, I'll throw you an invite to come to my research group. And if you say I want to be involved in research, help me, I will help you, even if you're not taking any of my classes. This is why I'm here, because I like the students in this university. And this is why you should come here, because we have so much availability in terms of coming and talking to someone who can help you get involved in research.
Yeah. Berger?
I'd like to add to that. So, well, first off, we start by assigning faculty advisors to freshmen. So you have your academic advisor, which helps you, pick the right classes to take and so on. But we also have your academic advisor sending you emails saying like, welcome to the university, I will be your faculty advisor. And if you have any questions about your career or about your classes, or, if you want to be a scientist, or if you want to be working in the fields, or if you're looking for internships or jobs, come and see me. And when a student comes in and says, hey, I think this is interesting, I want to work on that, I may say, okay, that's Dr. Ochoa's topic. There is a number of faculty in here, so we don't expect you to know all of our expertise. But when you come in and say, I want to work on this, I will tell you, hey, Dr. Kandel works on that, let's go talk to her. Or, hey, Dr. Ochoa works on that, let's go talk to him. Yeah. And so on, so we will guide you. And for freshmen, I actually have another student who was a freshman last year. And he also wrote a conference paper. We wrote a conference paper together for a very prestigious venue, IEEE Military Communications Conference. And he finished the paper in his freshman year. We sent it in the summer, and it came back. So in October, also this year, he was a sophomore, and I took him to the military communications conference. Like, they wouldn't rent him a car, they wouldn't give him a hotel room, so I had to go with him to help him check into the hotel. And as Dr. Ochoa said, we also covered all the expenses for the student, for the travel. I think he earned some money out of it, basically, doing the travel.
I would also like to add that Office of undergraduate research. It organizes research match day. Basically, all the faculties, they have a poster and they talk about all the research they are doing in their lab. And you can go there, look who is doing what, and if you are interested, and that's another way to contact the faculty and ask them to be your mentor.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone here would agree with me. I love it when freshmen reach out. Because it's just an extra layer of ambition, right? Just thinking about some students that we've worked with who started as freshmen. We had one win a Goldwater scholarship, one got a Pathfinder's internship with NASA. So for those of you who aren't aware, a Pathfinder's internship means they guarantee you an internship for 3 summers, and then you get basically first dibs at the NASA jobs, right? And those students both started with me as freshmen, and yeah, so I love it when a freshman has the initiative, and there's all like Dr. Kandel said, there's also tools to help facilitate that matching. So kind of an interesting question, even more aggressive. So what about high school students that are interested? So someone's asking, okay, we have high school students who are interested in smaller pieces of research. What advice or is there, how does that work? Or any thoughts about that?
That's an interesting question. I have not had the pleasure of having a high school reach out to me for research, so I'm all open. I'm not opposed. If it happens, it happens. It's just not something that I've had the experience to answer, but I cannot see why not. I am in this profession because I want to see the students succeed. So the younger the student, probably the more impactful it'll be.
Yeah, I can say I've worked with 2 high schoolers, one of which who published, and one of which who just interned with us for a summer. And there are other, programs on campus too. So I would definitely say either reach out or at a minimum, right? It's never too early to say, okay, I'm going to Embry-Riddle next year. I'm really interested. Hey, Dr. Kandel, I want to be a cybersecurity wizard. What do I need to learn, right? Everyone in our department, I think, would answer that question.
Yeah, especially if you think about it, if you have a summer, after you graduate from high school and you're coming here and you want to get to do something, we as professors have the most free time during the summer. This is where we really focus on doing research or coming up with research projects. So if you want to get involved and you're coming here and you want to start running right away as soon as you land, then that could be a great opportunity.
Yeah. So another question, coming back to Catherine here. So what kind of labs are available for students? So maybe we kind of mentioned the names of the labs. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what your lab actually kind of paint a picture for the audience. So what does your research lab actually look like? Like what kind of stuff's there?
I see. Okay, I'll start since I have a lab with some high performance computers. Those video cards that we can use to train algorithms. I have drones. I have some drones back here as props. We have most importantly, I think, besides the equipment, is that I have a bunch of really expert students who are always willing to work with other students. All my work, all the papers that I've worked in, all the research projects have been senior students mentoring and guiding the younger students. So it's not rare to see a paper where you see a PhD student mentoring an undergraduate on some research. I have right now, we just submitted a paper where I have one PhD student working with 2 undergraduates. So that's probably the most important resource that I have in my lab.
Okay, let me go next. So, yeah, so my lab also consists of PhD students, master students, and lots of undergraduate students. Since I do research in RF fingerprinting, GPS spoofing, and also currently I'm using AI-assisted cybersecurity, we have drones, which we are currently using for anomaly and GPS spoofing. We have software-defined radios in our lab. We have multiple of them. And software-defined radios are programmable computers that you can use in order to create your own radio. So I have those in my lab. as well as some high-performing computers as well.
I think I'll go next. And yeah, so my lab is, by the way, the coolest lab here is Dr. Watson's. But in my lab, we have tools to build radio frequency circuits and antennas. So everything that you need to put it, like starting from the boards to the printed circuit boards to the antenna, combining all the radio frequency elements we have in our lab, and also the tools to characterize them, their responses and how they work in extreme environments, such as, in space, in vacuum, or under the sea. We have the tools to test them, and as well as optical and space communication, radios and equipment. Like we have the tools to build our own radios, and we have the radios to be used. And I think my lab has a little about 20 students right now, between 20 and 25, comprising of several PhD students, master's students, and a lot of undergrads also.
Yeah, when you walk through that lab, not Dr. Prekas doesn't do this, but the other PI, he'll describe equipment in terms of how many Ferraris it's worth. This is 2 Ferraris. This is a Ferrari and a half. I'll put also in chat for everybody. So our LinkedIn page also has a lot of detail about the labs, what's going on in the department, faculty. I'll say the obligatory like and subscribe. We'll just subscribe because you can't really like on LinkedIn. But yeah, so if you want more information, you can go to the official Embry-Riddle webpage, or you can go to our LinkedIn page, which I put in the chat. Okay, so Shane asks a good question here. So he's asking about clubs to join, but really I think it's more interesting to highlight what is the difference between getting involved in student clubs and getting involved in student research, and how can they both, be part of a student's academic experience? And Dr. Kandel, I know since you're involved with White Hat Eagles, maybe you can speak to that a little bit, the difference between the two.
Sorry, difference between
so the question is clubs, and specifically you can talk about the difference between doing research with faculty and being on a student club.
Okay.
And because I think they provide different things to the student experience.
Yep, exactly. So we have a White Hat Eagles Club, cybersecurity club. So you can, if you get involved in the club, it helps you develop your skills, and then you get to participate in different cyber competitions. In the past, in last year, we had 2 teams participate in NCAE CD games, and we won. We were first in Southeast 1 regional, and we were placed 6th in the national, right? So when you participate in the clubs, it gives you another set of skills as compared to the research, right? You can highlight those in your CV. I participated in this competition. Also, the industry, the employers value these skills because these competitions, right? These high-level competitions, they are really practical. They are industry standard competitions. So whatever you learn in your classroom, right, all the theory knowledge that you gain through the classroom, you can actually now apply through these club participation in different competitions. So yeah, it's another set of experience that you can get by participating in the competitions through the clubs.
Yeah, any thoughts from other panelists on clubs versus research? Yeah, Dr. Prekas.
Yeah, so I am the faculty advisor of 3 clubs, and as Dr. Watson has mentioned, I have been here for less than 18 months, and I'm already advising 3 clubs. So one of them is a 3D printing student club, where we have students managing their own 3D printers, and they are printing out fun projects. Which one of the research project that I have that was presented at the Military Communications Conference actually came out of there, where the students printed a 3D printed antenna structure for satellite tracking. And the second club I'm advising is the Electronic Warfare Club, Spectrum Controlling Electronic Warfare Club. So that one also comes in and out of my research. Like I check what they're doing every now and then. I'm not too intrusive, so like the students have their own environment where they do their fun projects, and I snoop in every now and then and see how they can relate to my research and propose like, hey, if you do this, that becomes really relevant and useful to my research, and that is one venue how things take off. And then the third one is we also have a Prescott campus, and I am the Daytona Beach representative for the AI Plus Lab, where we do these AI projects. So these clubs are like the students have their own environment in their clubs. We are not in there all the time. You can do fun things with other students. But if things start to get interesting, you can always reach out to us and see how the club activities can relate to our research.
Yeah, I'll add, and we've kind of highlighted, and naturally, right, some of the more academic EECS focused clubs. Embry-Riddle has a very vibrant competition and club space. I can almost guarantee when I leave campus, late at night, there will be students in the board game club holed up in one of the classrooms, right? So it's a very it's a vibrant campus from that perspective, and they do a good job of having large, basically club fairs where you walk around and you're like, there are too many things for me to do, right, to be able to participate in them all.
Yeah.
Dr. Ochoa, did you want to add anything on that?
I was gonna add that going back to the difference between the participating research and joining some club is that when you join some club, it could be anywhere from just watching anime to something more tangible as focusing on acquiring cybersecurity skills. Whereas when you join research, it's most focused. The goal is to discover new knowledge to add into the knowledge that all of humanity has. So it's more focused, more guided, more to a certain degree, more rigorous. Whereas the club could be up to how what preferences you have, what hobbies you want to pursue. I've been the faculty advisor for clubs such as the Frisbee Club. I know there's clubs for playing board games, clubs for all sorts of things. But on a more technical side, the clubs that are deeply tied to the department are meant to help you grow skills, but it's not a structure. You're learning from your peers, from students. Whereas in research, you're being helped and mentored with someone that has been through that, like us in the panel.
So I want to close with two kind of questions here. The first one is maybe a little to spark a little bit of aspiration. So you mentioned you go to conference with students. So I want to clarify, we're not just driving them to Orlando and back. So can you talk to us about some of the places you've taken students in terms of both geographically, but also what like professional societies, just so we can paint a picture for our audience of what we mean when we say we're going to present research?
I'll start. Sweden. I sent a student to Sweden. We went to Sweden. She visited some rice museums and cathedrals. Spain. We went to a conference over there, and the student got to enjoy some nice tapas. We've done Canada. We've done Brazil. We've done the West Coast, California, Seattle, or down south in Miami. I mean, that's a great conference to go in the summer.
Probably should have had Dr. Ochoa go last, but the list.
Sorry.
Our students go everywhere because the conferences are not like tied to one location. They are all the way. They keep changing, right? The location keeps changing. Some of my students have gone to Spain. They have gone to Atlanta. They have been to DC, Tennessee, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
In my case, it was so since I've been here only 18 months, I sent 3 students to conferences. The military communications conference was in Los Angeles. The one that Aisha went to was in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and we had another student go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was a graduate student.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, that the students don't pay for that travel. That's paid for as part of the deal of doing the work.
Oh, I have a really good one.
Say again?
I sent a couple students to Las Vegas once. That was probably the best one, I think. I mean, I think one of them came back with more money than what I sent him with.
That's the outlier. Last question I'll ask. So let's say I'm a student in the audience, right? A high school student, and this feels a little unobtainable, right? I've never done cybersecurity before. We're talking about people competing and winning national, Dr. Candel's sixth in the nation, talking about national fellowships. What would you say to that student who's like, I've never built a robot or done hardcore machine learning coding, and I'm a senior in high school. Am I too far behind?
No, no,
Not
no.
at all. Just
Oh,
get started. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
That's
We are experts in teaching people that don't know what to do, how to learn to do those things. So we are not here. This is not a company or a high level research center that you come and we expect you to have all the skills to pursue and create knowledge. We're here working with students who learn, and we're experts at teaching in the classroom and outside the classroom. So we do not have the expectation or the need for you to be an expert in it. The only thing we need is people that are motivated, people that want to learn. You want to come and learn, we will show you the path and help you along the way.
So
I
Dr.
can't
Ochak,
say any better than
Yeah.
that. Dr.
Yeah.
Pekos, anything to add?
yeah, I think Dr. Ochak
Very, very well.
you
Yeah.
put that clear very, very greatly. And I want to add to that, like, why is Embry-Riddle different than the other universities? Maybe I can just highlight on that. In the other universities, at least that's, I've been into, and I think, I don't think Embry-Riddle exists anywhere else. The professors are measured in their performance by like how much they do research, whereas in Embry-Riddle, our performance metric on how they measure our success is how well we integrate our students to our research and how successful our students become. And that's Embry-Riddle is the only place that I've seen this happening, and that is why we are focused more on our students' success rather than our own success, because their students becomes our success.
Yeah, I think that's a great closing note. I'll say let's say you're excited, but also, faculty have one perspective. Great news. Next week, we'll be back with students, right? So next week, from high school to high impact, finding a path in engineering and technology, right? So we'll have students. Some of the students Alex, that Dr. Ochoa talked about, will be here, and some new students with new stories. So if you want to ask them, what is the real deal? About how to get involved or what it's like to go to college here. But we hope to see you then. Otherwise, please reach out. We hope to see some of you on campus in the upcoming years. And I think that'll do it for us for tonight. So thank you for attending, and we hope to see you on campus soon.